Greetings, everyone. I'm excited to welcome Shameek Ghosh, CEO and co-founder of TrusTrace. Shameek, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, great to have you here. Let's kick this off. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, Shameek, I'm originally from India, but now I live and I'm based out of Sweden, Stockholm. It has been a journey. Started working in India in various IT services companies. And then I moved to Southeast Asia, was there for 6 years, and then have been in Europe for the last, 15 plus years now. There, I was born and brought up in India. I call myself, a global citizen, I would say, but with a strong association to the place where I've grown in and they have worked together. Yeah. And more about Justice in the coming half an
Yeah.
hour. Right?
Yeah, no, that's great. That's quite the journey. And is your background, is it technical in nature? Is it more on the commercial side? Tell us a little bit more about that.
It started as a technical consultant, but very early on, within the 2 years of my career, I got bored out of it. So then I said I would rather move to more relationship based roles. And that's how I moved into a little bit of solution architecting and more about then pre-sales and then sales and business development. So most of my career has been sales and business development before starting. It's
Okay. Yeah, no, that's great. And then is this your first, say, startup journey? Have you founded companies previously?
Nope. Before that, I was a thoroughbred corporate animal and got uh, nudged into the startup world after I did during my executive MBA days, and also worked talking to a couple of my good friends there. So yeah, first start very late in my career, but as fun as it can be.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, so kind of same background here. So, well, let's talk about Trust Trace. What products and or services does Trust Trace offer?
Yeah. So we are a digital platform, a B2B SaaS platform for product traceability and supply chain transparency. So, and our core focus as of now is on fashion and textile as a market, given that it is a pretty big problem in that industry there. And early on, we pivoted towards that, and we have see the significant amount of headroom for us to. So we do product traceability and supply chain transparency. And we typically target large enterprises and companies who are above $1 billion in revenue, largely selling it to a global market so that they have to now comply to multiple different sustainability or ESG-led regulations in different markets. So that is where TrusTrace plays.
Okay. And can you give us some use cases here? So you're going after the big fashion brands then? And so I don't know, throwing out like, I don't know, Ralph Lauren or somebody, so
Yeah.
is it give us a little use case of how this works.
Yeah. So typically, if you have to understand that most of the large fashion companies who have got global supply chain, complex supply chains, and also dealing with multiple different products, I'm talking about at least 10,000 plus products and with a very, very long supply chain. So now their problem is that they need to have collect a lot of evidence from the supply chain regarding various environmental, social, and ethical aspects, and not only limited to their direct suppliers, but they also need to collect evidence about right from the fiber part of it there. So that is what is needed. And they are being exposed on various regulations coming in from different markets. Plus, the consumers are demanding transparency from them there. So in this kind of context, the way they have been doing this area of work has been through manual means. So they have typically put in a few sustainability analysts who will typically collect this data, working with their production teams and the sourcing teams. They- But the manual methods are not. First of all, there is a significant data quality issue, and second thing is that it is also a coverage issue. So it does not cover all the aspects that is needed there. So that is what TrustTrace does. So in simple terms, we will help a large company to say that using our platform, they will first do what we call supply chain mapping. See in it, who is your direct supplier for a specific product or batch of product, who is their sub supplier, who is their tier two, tier three supplier, and typically you go up to tier four kind of range. Then after that, you also collect information about what is going on in a factory or a node, and which is what we call sustainable supplier management. effectively, you will typically say that do they have the right policies or right evidence of that they have proper water treatment, that they are not causing any chemical pollution locally, etc. They are taking care of their wages, of the social commitments are strong and in line with your company philosophy there. Then you typically also start collecting evidences about the material flow. Because when you're making a garment, I see that you're wearing a vest. So that for that vest, it is very important that by the weight of the product, at least 50% of the product is made out of sustainable materials. And there are many, a significant high magnitude of false claims going around sustainable materials. So through our platform, we are able to create what we call a chain of custody, or sort of a very strong credit debit of sustainable materials across the supply chain. This is a fairly complex solution. It is an enterprise IT platform which typically sits almost in a similar landscape like a ERP or any supplier management solution or a PLM in a large enterprise fashion company.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that does seem complex. And it sounds like you're really replacing the good old fashioned manual process spreadsheets, maybe PDFs, just manual compilation of all this data in the supply chain. And now you're bringing it into your application.
You're right. So if you look at from a very high level, it is actually a significant amount of digitization of the supply chain that we are doing with the goal that someday it will be fully digitalized. So obviously, when we started, we wanted to use a lot of blockchain kind of a technologies, but we felt that yeah, this technology is in a world which is not even taken the first steps towards digitization. Full blockchain implementation is yeah, not practical enough. So we do leverage a lot of AI technologies because it couples very, very well with an OCR technology to give that the, I would say, digitalization 1.0 kind of a momentum towards the.
And then, like you said, you're selling into very large organizations, global enterprises. So then, do these, when they're at that size, do they have a sustainability office or a leader? Like, who are you trying to reach within these large organizations to sell your product?
Typically, ideally, if there is a head of traceability, we sell into a head of traceability, but traceability is a fairly new topic in most of the across industries. So in some places there is a role like head of traceability, and in some places there is, and many places there is not. But the typical topic of traceability is sitting under the head of sustainability or chief sustainability officer. But in this role of traceability or traceability program, because it is such a big change management and a big undertaking, the the chief sustainability officer will work very, very closely with the chief supply chain officer organization. And typically they have to report into the CFO, because nowadays, because of this compliance issues, the CFOs want to know that, hey, are you have the right data? Because then otherwise don't make any claims which is external facing. So there is I would say a tri-party understanding between chief sustainability officer, chief supply chain officer, and CIO under the some kind of a reporting or risk and impact analysis being driven towards the CFO. Typically, we sell the solution to a CSO, and then during the process, we also have to convince the chief supply chain officer as well as the CIO.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. Big problem that you're solving here. So, tell what year did you found TrusTrace?
End of 2016, but we really started working in 2017 early.
Okay. So 2016, 2017. And then do you have a headquarters location or are you all virtual?
No, we have a headquarters in Stockholm, Sweden, and then we have a large presence in India. So we are around, as of now, around 130 odd people, with around 22 of them in Sweden, around 100 or 105 odd in India. Then we have got 3 people in France and 2 person in US.
Okay, great. But headquarters in Stockholm. And then, yeah, you mentioned your team size, about 130 staff or so. And then anything you want to share around revenue ranges, ARR ranges currently?
As of now, we closed last year FY20 close to $5 million. in
Okay.
revenue. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
And
Great.
our exit, ARR exit is also on similar range.
Okay. Okay, that's great. And so we talked about that ideal customer profile, like who you're trying to target. So tell us a little bit about your go-to-market motion. Is this classic outbound cold emails, calls into these offices since you know the role or title that you're trying to target?
A mix of it, but I would say that typically we have, because we have customers such as Adidas or Tapestry, Primark, fast retailing kind of companies, which are large customers who have got a sustainability charter, who are, so I think we are quite well known in this market, and traceability is a very new space. So if you take traceability and specifically in fashion and textile, there are very, very few players and very few, and out of that, maybe one or two who are at our scale and with this target of enterprise and large customers. And why we are doing enterprise and largest? Because the regulations are more targeted towards the large companies with the complex supply chains. As the regulation starts expanding and with the enforcement towards the wider fashion industry, I think there will be an uptake in that medium or smaller kind of customers also there. And then obviously we will typically follow the motion there. Your question on GTM motion, largely we are targeting access to these enterprise customers through various events. We do outbound, but outbound is very, very limited. It is more knowledge sharing based. We actually do a lot of work towards educating the customers. We have authored playbooks which are very well circulated in amongst the practitioners. We do customer cohort meetings where we typically will say that, hey, here is a customer who has been through the journey. You talk to this customer and see that how it can be applied to your company and all that. So yeah, and very, very strong word of mouth. Our customer churn has been very, very low, and NPS is, yeah, I would say more than 40, which shows that we have got quite a lot of promoters in the amongst our customers, and we are delivering value to them.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I guess, yeah, that makes a ton of sense because there are only probably so many global fashion brands that you can go after. So,
Yeah.
the knowledge sharing, education, yeah, that makes sense. And switching over to the fundraising side, how much capital have you raised to date?
So we raised in total around $24 million. There was some part of secondary for a couple of early investors, but a significant part of it, more than 20 is or towards the primary.
Okay. All right. So about 24 million raised. And did it follow the classic, kind of pattern of seed and series A?
Yeah.
Or tell us a little bit about the sequence of the funding events.
So 2016 and we started, then 2017 is when we also got a couple of grants from the Swedish Innovation Ministry called Vinnova. They have a program called Vinnova to support early startup work there. So we got first grant then we had a second grant in 2018 again, and then 2018, and we also got a corporate grant from Zalando. So that was the early, I was almost 500,000 raised to the thing, and that helped us to develop product or co-create the product working with sustainability leaders from Scandinavia there. 2019, we did a seed round towards expansion in Europe, and also because we had started receiving a good amount of inquiry from large brands, and we had developed a solution working with mid-sized brands. So we had to scale up the platform and also invest toward CAC and GTM motions there. Then 2021, we did a Series A with the aim for global expansion. And then we started selling into US, as well as we got inquiries coming in from Japan and Australia. So we started servicing them all there. And in line with that, in 2023, we were planning to raise it in 2024 this quarter, but we got very strong interest coming in inbound in 2023, but then we said, okay, let's try to close it in Q4 of 2000. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. So that last capital round, you said that was 2021. That was a series A.
Yes.
Okay.
Before
Okay.
this one, yeah.
Yeah. Before what you're thinking about right now. And
No,
then,
we raised Series B in
oh, you did.
December of, yeah, we did. So seed round was around $1 million. Then we raised around million-ish in the Series A, and Series B now we have raised $24 million.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. So yeah, tell us. Yeah, so this latest round, since fresh in your memory, Series B, and so it was interesting. You mentioned Series A going after that global expansion. So what were the triggers or milestones that led you to then a Series B raise?
So series, the biggest difference with Series A and Series B. In Series A, regulations were coming in, but now in Series B, we see a strong tailwind across different markets. So earlier in by Series A, the regulations were driving in Europe largely there. And then now we see a stronger regulation coming in the US also, and also Japan and Australia there. And more importantly, more than the regulation, we see very strong enforcement happening of these regulations. So obviously people have to now focus on compliance. And because they are facing so many different regulations, many of the fashion brands are looking at both risk and compliance, the early detection of the risk so that they don't go into the full production cycle and then find this batch of production cannot be sold anywhere, kind of a thing. And then now we also see that many of them are committing towards carbon goals. And if you want to have a very strong and the right uh, uh, way of presenting your carbon footprint, which is you should include your scope three, which has got exposure towards production cycle, and then you need traceability data for it there. So risk, compliance, and sustainability is what is driving a significant amount of adoption. And this tailwind is much stronger, which means that we now need to service much more different segments also within the fashion market, because the way a sports and outdoor company will do sourcing is very different from a luxury or a fast fashion.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. So now with the Series B, like early on, say maybe Seed or Series A, you've got some traction, you're seeing a signal, but now sounds like Series B, a lot of signals where it's regulation, different countries, carbon footprint. So just a lot of signals indicating that, yeah, you're
Exactly.
ready. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
same data, you can pretty much say the same functional, you're solving the same functional problem, but that functional problem is solving multiple different use cases there. Because earlier it could have been just one. Maybe they want to just communicate the journey of the product to a consumer, transparency. But now they want the same data for carbon footprint calculation. They want it for complying to various regulations. They also want to do early risk detection so that early in their design cycle, they say, hey, use this sustainable materials to design the product, and let's not on a complete production cycle and then figure out, hey, come on, this is not going to help us in selling into these markets, things
yeah,
like that.
yeah. Appreciate that insight. So, yeah, a lot of signals going on with that Series B. So, for other founders who may be thinking about that next fundraise, maybe going for that Series B, what comes to mind is any fundraising lessons learned in that process, whether it's the Series B or Series A? Anything comes to mind that you'd like to share?
So I think I would first thing say that we should be patient with the fundraising process and wait for your right time, because I think getting a lot of inbound right from end of 2022, but we always wanted to get our budget in the right shape, right format. And really, when you don't need the money, don't go for the money unless you can deploy it very well. So that is, I think, we followed early on in 2023 to increase our runway. We also did a venture debt process so that we are not stressed out that okay, we have to close the round by so and so date, kind of a thing. This allowed us two things. One thing it allowed us is to prepare ourselves really well for the round, number one, which is very helpful, because if you're well prepared, you can close the round. So our due diligence got closed in 3 weeks time, right? And it was quite a significant due diligence, but we could, because we were prepared, number one. Number two, I think it also allows you, to gives you the freedom to pick up the right investment partner, because it is not just the numbers or the valuation that you're looking for. You also want the right partner who will take you from this point to the next point in the right way, kind of a thing. So yeah, so be patient, prepare well, and then yeah, wait for the right moment.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. Yeah, appreciate that insight. So, should we get the current stage of your business? Do you have a favorite number or metric, or maybe it's multiple now to help manage and guide the business?
Yeah, so I didn't get your what do you mean by multiple or yeah,
No,
metric that way.
yeah, number or metric that is just important. If you have a couple North Star metrics, yeah, what's important at this stage for you for your business?
So we are a B2B SaaS company. We of course get driven by our ARR exit. So we follow that very closely, and not only at ARR level, but at ARR level, but MRR exit every quarter kind of thing there. Second is we follow the burn that we have, the what is the burn and what is the runway that we have, what we have. Uh, we keep an eye towards the EBITDA, but till Series B, we were not doing it so much. But obviously now, path to profitability as we grow in scale is something that we will strive for there. But broadly, we have driven the business focused very strongly on ARR and ARR subscription revenue kind of a thing. And second one is the general cash
Yep.
situation.
Yeah. Yeah. Cash burn runway. Yeah. Yeah. ARR, very popular metric, of course, especially B2B SaaS. So that makes sense. So Shameek, really appreciate your time today. And as we wrap up, what's coming up next for Trust?
So we have raised Series B with a clear aim of two, three things. So we want to increase our position or enhance our position in Europe for sure, and different markets, Northern Europe, Southern Europe, and UK, Ireland kind of thing. And then also we want to expand faster into the US. Plus, we see significant opportunities in our existing customers to grow deeper and wider in those kind of customers also. So that is what you typically got within existing customer growth journeys there. So that is what we will focus on. And obviously, we are still in a scale up mode, so we will innovate, and there are some R&D projects that we are very excited about. Hopefully, in the coming years, we'll see that we'll also launch a couple of new product additions.
Okay. Yeah. A lot of going on as usual.
Yes.
So Shameek, really appreciate your time sharing your experience and journey today. So if listeners would like to learn more about TrustTrace, where should we send them online?
Obviously, please visit our website. It's a fresh website that we have now did an upgrade this year there, but and it has got a lot of content. But and also listeners can reach out to me via my email, which is my first name dot last name at trusttrace.com. Maybe you can put it in the show notes.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. All right. If you'd like to learn more about what Shameek's doing, check out Trust. So it's TrustTrace.com to learn more. And Shameek, really appreciate your time today.
Thank you, man.